Security Administration has taken some drastic actions because of the low staffing levels at the Social Security Administration. My name is Ed Weir. I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country. And now on my semi-retirement, I'm making sure you all get everything you're entitled to from all things retirement, survivor benefits, spouse benefits, disability, Medicare, Medicaid, and all the rest of it. This is a live Q&A as well. I was going to just do a live Q&A for the entire hour, but there was some kind of breaking news that Social Security is basically limiting service. They've been, when I was working at Social Security, they were talking about this for a long, long time, but it looks like they're finally going to push the button. So they're limiting access to offices. Right now, they're doing it in two stages. The final stage is January 6th. Not sure why they picked that date. I think it's a historical date. Not sure why they decided on that date. But anyway, January 6th, 2025. Starting then, you will need an appointment to get into the Social Security Administration. They've been talking about this for a long time. Yeah, I completely disagree with what they're trying to do. I understand why they're doing it because of staffing and all the rest of it. Um, but the Social Security Administration, their job, the employees at the Social Security Administration, is to help you get your benefits, get your retirement benefits, survivor benefits, the right check at the right time, as we used to call it. And if you can't get into the office and talk to a person so they can take an interview and adjudicate your claim and get you the right check at the right time, then that's essentially a benefit cut. Because if you're delayed, you miss months. If you get the wrong, check. One of the problems with Social Security Administration right now is because they're so understaffed. You have to know what you want. You have to know whether you want independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. If you even know about that, if you're a regular viewer to my channel, you do. You have to know whether you should file for retirement and disability at the same time. You should know whether you should file for survivor benefits now and wait for benefits on your own record, or maybe you should delay your benefits at your full retirement age for the delayed retirement credit. And there's so many different variables right now because of the staffing. Before you walk in, before you schedule an appointment, you have to know exactly what you want. And how do you know exactly what you want? Well, unfortunately, the Social Security Administration, the employees can't really give you strategic recommendations. You can certainly look through the 20,000 pages of Social Security policy. I've done it many, many times over my decades working at Social Security. Social media, unfortunately, all the people out there on social media never worked at the Social Security Administration. They've never adjudicated a claim. So they're providing sometimes incomplete information, erroneous information. So it's very difficult. That's why I came out of retirement and I'm starting this channel. So if make sure you subscribe and like and all that kind of good stuff. But what's going to happen with these appointments, that these kind of mandatory appointments, that they are offering exceptions, like people that are homeless can't set up an appointment, people that need their check immediately, can't set up an appointment. It looks as though they are going to allow offices throughout the country to, take walk-ins without an appointment for those critical situations. But I can tell you from personal experience, each office will interpret that policy a little bit differently. And you might have to go down to the local office and they say, well, for your particular situation, you have to call the appointment. And so you have to sit on the phone for 3 hours and you won't get your appointment for another month or two. So yeah, if they do it uniform across, which I doubt it very seriously, then it might be a little bit better. But I have an issue with this because we tried this in my office. Initial appointments, no problem. You've always been able to set an initial appointments if you're filing for, retirement or disability initial claim. But what's called PE, post entitlement issues, that is, you're already receiving benefits and you're missing a check, you want to change your address, you want to sign up for Part B or something like that, those you have never had an appointment really available. The problem is this is going to make the whole system even worse, because the situation is, there may be a smaller office, this might work, but the larger offices in major jurisdictions, major areas throughout the country, here's my experience. You come in, and I'm only going to take a few more minutes and then I'll get to your questions. So make sure you type your questions in chat there. It looks like I already got a bunch of questions to get to. I will shut up here as soon as I can, but I want to throw this out here to the world And since the commissioner for Social Security just resigned, there's going to be a new one in there. Everybody got a lot of comments saying, Ed, you should be the new commissioner. No, they don't want me as the new commissioner. I'm too annoying. I'll be a consultant if they want me to outside consultant. I can do that, no charge. So here's the situation. If you have someone like a social security card who wants to change their address or get a 1099 or something like that, and they only have and the only way they can get it is get an appointment to do that. The problem with that is if an employee has like 10 or 20 or 30 appointments a day, and you call that person, or that you have an appointment and that person doesn't show up within a few minutes, that person has to sit there and twiddle their thumbs for 5 or 10 minutes to give that person, the visitor or the claimant, time to answer the phone or whatever the case may be, and that's time lost. If those people are actually in the lobby, you finish one appointment and you immediately, or excuse me, you finish one interview, you help one person and you immediately call the next person and the next person and the next person. That is a lot more efficient. Unfortunately, on your side, it's not great because you have to sit in the lobby, but it's setting an appointment is just going to delay everything for everybody. So I'm sure they're going to come in and say, hey, we've reduced wait times. Yeah, of course you reduce wait times because nobody's waiting in the lobby anymore. They have to wait 2 months to get an appointment. So yeah, I see the intention of this because there is terrible staffing. But yeah, no, it's a bad decision. It's a very, very bad decision. So if they would, and again, we won many awards in my office because we were one of the most innovative offices in the country. And we tried this for a few days. Employees said, hey, we should try this. And I'm like, all right, we'll try it. And it was a terrible, terrible. Yeah, it was terrible. It was completely inefficient. So anyway, all right. I will shut up and now I will answer any and all of your questions. So if you don't have any questions, let's make sure you're getting everything you're entitled to. Let's make sure you make the right decision if you're about to file. I help with all things Social Security, retirement, disability, survivor benefits, spouse benefits. I've teamed up with Chapter Medicare if you need help finding a plan. There's close to 2 million plans that are going to be canceled this year. A lot of them are going to be downgraded. So give them a call and they can see if they can find something better for you 100% for free. All right, Kathy, taxes paid on union strike paid 1040, not showing on Social Security income. So yeah, so you really need to, I'm not sure, taxes on union strike pay. That's a, yeah, yep. How all that works is you file your taxes, and that's between you and your buddies at the IRS. And however you file your taxes, if you paid FICA on that strike pay, I'm not sure whether you paid FICA I'm not a tax expert. I don't claim to be one. I stay in my lane, Social Security, Medicare. I wish people on social media would do the same. But yeah, it's between you and the IRS, and whatever the IRS, if you paid FICA wages, Medicare and Social Security wages, FICA tax on that, then Social Security should have it. If not, then you definitely need to take it down to Social Security and say, hey, I made $10,000, but you can see I paid FICA taxes on that. If you didn't, then it's not going to show up. People that post are that, okay, yep. Let's see here. Yeah, sometimes the posts don't show up before I start. Okay, Lisa, my husband turned 65 in January, still works, has insurance through them, and from work, I retire, but they cover us for 5 years and will pay his Medicare Part A and Part B. Does he still get a separate Part A? Okay, wow, a lot of codes there. All right. I'm gonna answer this, and I think that what you're asking is your husband's going to be 65 in January, has health insurance, so you're probably thinking about Part B. You do not. You hear everybody 65 Part B is mandatory. If you don't get Part B at 65, you're going to be penalized for the rest of your life and all this kind of stuff. True, unless you have health insurance for current work. So if your husband has health insurance from current work, not a retirement plan or anything like that, his current work or your current work, and that employer has 20 or more employees, then you do not have to sign up for Part B. And you can sign up for it at 80, 85, 90 years old, and there's no penalty. So that's for Social Security and Medicare. If your employer tells you you have to sign up for Part A and Part B, that's a whole different issue. If your plan from your health insurance plan from work is just terrible, and Medicare Part A and Part B with a supplement or Medicare Advantage is better, then that's your decision. So compare the two. Some people's their health insurance from work is just yeah they don't make me and I don't have to, but this plan really sucks. So some people just go ahead and get it anyway. Simon says, I recently got Part D via Medicare and Medicaid, then received notification stating my Part B is covered under WellCare. Is this okay? Ooh, I mentioned a company name. I always try to avoid saying company names, health insurance companies. But anyway, I read that too quick. All right. So yeah, it really depends on you. Sometimes the states when you're on Medicaid, but if you're on Medicare and Medicaid, maybe in your particular situation, a Medicare Advantage, because you can't get a Medicare supplement because you have Medicaid, but a Medicare Advantage might be better, and those have Part D wrapped up in there, and those are the ones you see advertised. I think the advertising is really scammy, but those grocery cards and the over-the-counter cards and all that kind of stuff, they do exist. They do exist, but it really depends on your particular area and what level of Medicaid, or there's there's probably dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of different plans in your area. So I would reach out to where it is chapter there, and they'll see if there's a Medicare Advantage plan in your particular area that might get you a little bit more money. One of the things I would caution on Medicare Advantage, if you watch my videos, I always, 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 always recommend Medicare supplements first, a plan N first, and then a plan G. But a lot of people can't afford the monthly premium, so they go ahead and get a Medicare Advantage. If you're on Medicaid, that's your only option is Medicare Advantage or nothing. Um, Part D is obviously automatic in there. Is if you have like a home health care type thing, a lot of home health care, you got someone that comes out to your house, once or twice a week or something. Sometimes those companies say they take a Medicare Advantage plan, but they don't like taking Medicare Advantage. They like billing Medicaid directly. So if you're thinking about switching to a Medicare Advantage, and you have Medicare and Medicaid and you have home health care and you like that home health care, I would reach out and say, hey, to your home health care people, the people that, come out, they built a relationship with, and say, hey, this Medicare Advantage plan has a, $500, grocery card. I could really use that money. But if I switch to that, are y'all still going to come out? And again, they'll say, yeah, we take that Medicare Advantage. Yes, we have a contract with that Medicare Advantage plan, but all Medicare Advantage plans, well, not all, but most of them don't pay as well and don't pay as quickly as Medicaid directly. So most of those companies like dealing with Medicaid directly rather than Medicare Advantage. So just kind of a cautionary tale. Pretty much no Medicare insurance agents or brokers in the country will probably tell you that. So there's that. Oh, Take and Took. Yeah, I saw your comment today on YouTube. I appreciate it. I guess there's a WhatsApp scammer out there pretending to be me. Hopefully, he's got a better picture up there. He's got Dr. Ed Weir, and he's got a picture of Brad Pitt or something like that. And so, yeah, I wish I could get some CGI and put some hair on my head. But anyway, it is what it is. So thanks for letting me know. Yeah, send me that link if you're able to find that link again. Yeah, send it to me, and yeah, we'll see. I'll keep an eye on that. You can't get an answer to the phone for an appointment. Yeah, yeah, I completely disagree. I understand why they're doing it. They're trying anything to help, but it's going to artificially deflate wait times. And it's kind of like the scandal that happened with the VA in Phoenix, where they manipulated the wait times. And I don't think it's that egregious, but I think they're going to, in a few months, they're going to say, "Oh, look, wait times have really decreased." Yeah, people don't have to wait 2 hours for their phone call. They get called at exactly 9 o'clock on Tuesday, but they had to wait 2 months for that. And those 2 months they had to wait for the appointment is not counted in the wait time because, yeah. So, yeah, yeah, I disagree with this. Need to report those mirror sites to YouTube. Will work better if Dr. Ed puts up a claim on them too. Yeah, I saw one that's using my stuff, but they only had like 10 views. So I'm like, whatever. I called today and the local office has a message saying it is in effect now. The automated voice says to call the hotline and hung up. Yeah, there is about 400 offices throughout the country where they went and did it kind of a pilot type of program where they started it in kind of increments, and then it's going to go to the entire country. One of the things, because as I mentioned, again, I'm going to, this is to the new commissioner or whoever out there that wants to listen. Um, One of the things is, like in my office, we were the third busiest in the office, in the country, and we saw thousands and thousands of people every day. And we were crazy efficient, but a lot of offices aren't. But there's smaller offices, like, okay, for my particular office, we were super busy. There was another office in the same metro area that we used to call the country club because they weren't so busy, because everybody wanted to come to our office. Um, so workload mobility. What Social Security should do, rather than doing this crazy appointment thing, is do workload mobility. They should, busy offices like Dallas that are underwater, they should farm out some of their workload to Boise, Idaho, or something like that, because there's some offices that, are kind of not as busy. And I'm sure a lot of people have been to those offices that are not busy. They need to help out other offices. That's where you get a lot of efficiency there. So, but yeah, Social Security still needs staff. Yes. I was told by my lawyer's office that I won my SSDI case. However, I had a voicemail from Social Security that they had a question on my application. What does this mean? Yeah, no idea what we're talking about. But if you won your case, it might just be a representative payee thing, or you're maybe, if you've already been approved, then they're trying to adjudicate your money, get your money to you. Maybe they need to, double check your direct deposit or something. So not sure. But if you're approved, you're approved. Hi, I'm getting my benefits, and the lady that was taking my application asked me if I need representative payee. What is it, and do people have to have it? Okay, yeah. So that's what I was just kind of alluding to a little bit. A representative payee is if you can't take care of your own benefits because you have a mental or physical limitation, then they find someone to be your representative payee. You can appoint someone, your parent or child or brother or sister, whatever the case may be. There are some private organizations that provide representative payee services, and they're allowed to charge for that fee. But it's always good to get a family member. And inside tip here, they can't force you to get a representative payee. We had someone, Margaret, love her. She used to come in and steal our toilet paper on a regular basis. And yeah, she would come in the office on a monthly basis and say, my Social Security was checked. I was sitting there, and it was stolen. I was sitting there, my lazy boy, and I fell asleep and I woke up, it was gone. I think it was aliens. And we tried to get someone to take care of her benefits, and her kids didn't want anything to do with her. And so we just had to give her her benefits because it's her right. We can't force people to have a representative payee. They will try, but when push comes to shove, they can't force you. So if you don't want a representative payee and you're able to take care of benefits yourself, it's all you. The head of Social Security quit, O'Malley. Yes, he resigned. Yes. Just read Dr. Oz nominated to the head of CMS. Wow. Wow. I called the national hotline, still waiting for the call back 3 hours later. Yeah, yeah, it's going to get worse too, because everybody has to have an appointment going forward. So yeah, so you wait either an hour or two at your local office, and after you wait, then you get your issue resolved, or you wait an hour or two on the phone, and then after 2 months, you get yeah. So as you can see, I don't like the new policy. So, Dr. Oz, call me. I can be your consultant, and I'm not going to charge anything. You just have to sit and listen to my diatribe for however many hours. Can you believe when I stopped in my local office, they had 20 windows available, but only 3 workers seeing people? Yeah. So it's probably that particular office. It sounds like they're one of the early adopters of that policy. So everybody was in the back at their desks taking appointments. So they were working. They were just, because I guess that particular office is not accepting walk-in anymore. They're not putting people at the front windows. So there's that. Yeah. So that office is an early adopter. It is sad what is going on with all of Social Security. Many people are panicking and need to listen to what you're saying. Ah, thank you very much. Yeah. I try not to be, clickbaity and fear mongering, all that kind of stuff. But I'm just, here's what the Social Security trustees report. Here's what the Congressional Budget Office says. Here's what every accountant says that, 2034, it's going to be cut by 17%. The customer service is getting, terrible. And the generation of customer service is a political decision, because when y'all hate Social Security and you're fed up with Social Security, that they don't pick up the phone, they don't help you, they give you the wrong answers, then you just throw up your hands and say, "Yep, okay, politician, do whatever you want with it." And what are they going to do with it? They're going to sell it out to Wall Street and their private equity firms, and they're going to make tons of money, and they're going to sail off into the sunset with their 100-foot yachts. So that's why they're not going to put me as a commissioner of Social Security, stuff like that. Kathleen, I'm a 60-year-old divorced senior. We were married for 17 years. I'm not remarried, but the agent I spoke to asked if I was. Have the rules changed? I'm a 60-year-old divorced senior. I mean, yeah, they're it doesn't really matter. I guess they're just asking you to put it as part of the claims path, and as we used to call it, put it in the application that you're remarried, but you can be remarried after 60. But if you said, "Yeah, I'm married. I got married at 59," then you're not entitled to those survivor benefits. You can be remarried after 17 years old. So, yep, no rule changes there yet. All right. Is it best to take benefits before retirement age? What's the pros and cons of taking earlier? Before your full retirement age, that is? Yeah, it really depends on your particular situation, your health, longevity in your family. Do you need the money? Is it going to put you in a higher tax bracket? Is other people waiting for you to file, kids or spouses or something like that, so they can get their benefits? And are you working? And yeah, there are just so many variables. So can PE be handled online? Post entitlement be handled online? Yes, some of it. If you need a new Social Security card, you can get a new Social Security card. I mean, not a new number, but a new Social Security card. You lost your number or something like that. You can get that online. If you're changing your name because of a marriage or divorce, then you can't do that online. Social Security actually has to see your documentation, the divorce decree and everything. You can change your address online. You can change your phone online. You get to get 1099 online. But that is the one of the very, very good things, that they're doing a lot of stuff, PE type stuff online. So that's a very, 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 very good development. We like that. But some people just, especially since they took away the internet assistance. It used to give you $75, then they switch it to what, $35, so you can help pay the internet and stuff, and because everything is online now, so they should come back with that to help people. Can we still apply for benefits online? I heard the head of SSA resign the other day too. Yes, you can, in terms of filing for benefits, yes, you can file for an initial retirement claim, a spousal claim. You cannot do survivor benefits. You can do disability. You kind of can do SSI, the supplemental security income, but yeah. In the small town I live in, Washington State, appointments have been mandatory for years. Yeah. So, but what if someone loses their check and they got to pay their rent today? It's like, set an appointment. Yeah. But it's a small town, I guess. And it's like, "Oh yeah, we've got an appointment at 2 o'clock, right?" So I don't know. Yeah, that's one of the things about making a blanket policy regulation like that for 100, 1,500 offices throughout the country. Is some, it's like, that's a terrible idea. Others is like, oh, it's a great idea. But so, what or how does or can it affect us overseas, like myself in Southeast Asia currently? No, pretty much. Yeah, you still go with the FBU, the Federal Benefits Unit in Manila, there to get whatever you need done. I am getting different information from the state versus the federal Social Security disability. Where can I go to get correct information about SSDI claim? My attorney got paid for getting me awarded and will not answer. Okay, so yeah, so you're talking about state versus the federal. State, you're talking about the DDS, the Disability Determination Services. Those are the people that make a medical determination, and then once they make the medical determination, they send it back to the Social Security Administration, your local office, who adjudicates the claim. So what happens if you have an attorney Your claim is approved. First, they have to pay your attorney. That's the first thing. And once they figure out how much to pay the attorney, then they decide, they give you any back pay, they take that out of back pay. And so, yeah, you should be good. If they paid the attorney, then the next step is to pay you. So you should be good here pretty soon. If not, then someone messed up big time. My full retirement age is 66 and 2 months, 10 months. That will be 11/20/25. What is max I can make from work next year, and what month should I start not to incur penalties? So for next year, the max for next year is $62,160. So as long as you stay under the $62,160 between January and October, you're good. Starting November, you can make $1 billion a month. It doesn't matter anymore. So if you're going to stay under that amount, you can start your benefits in January. It'll be reduced, a few months, 10 months or so. But you also get those 10 or 11 months of worth of checks. So there's that. Elizabeth, I hear two different things on ex-spouse benefits. If married 10 plus years, one can get married after 60, or one can never remarry. The ex-spouse has to be deceased. To be remarried after 60, it has to be a surviving spouse claim. And you had to be, if it's divorce, had to be married 10 years. If you were married to the person when they passed, then you just had to be married to that person for 9 months. There's a couple exceptions in there. But a lot of people miss that. There's a lot of people out there that could get survivor benefits, but they think they had to be married 10 years. No, if it was of a divorce situation, yes. So that's why please press like and subscribe and share and all that kind of good stuff so we can get information out there to people that need it. A lot of people struggling and they've got money waiting for them. They just don't know they do. So, one con is that if taken earlier, benefits will be lower. Yes, anytime you take benefits from Social Security, retirement benefits, spouse benefits, survivor benefits, in most cases, your benefits are going to be reduced every month you take that early. So I turned 65 in April. Do I have to sign up for Medicare by December 7th? No, no. In your case, yeah, the December 7th deadline is for all the people that want to switch their plans for next year, Medicare Advantage and their Part D plans, or if they want to go back to original Medicare and get a Medicare supplement, they have to do that by December 7th. So for all those people that have been canceled, that want to see if their plans have been canceled, and we're talking Medicare Advantage and the Part D plans, call chapter there, and they can give them. They're kind of way crazy. This is the worst, most chaotic Medicare season in decades. So you might not get through immediately, but be a tad bit patient. We got until December 7th, but please don't wait till December 7th, because that last week, as I always say for Valentine's Day, it's the annual meeting of the Procrastinators Club. This is the annual meeting of the Procrastinators Club too, that last week. So, but in your case, I'll get back to your case, Roger. No. So you sign up, if you're currently receiving Social Security benefits, money benefits, you don't have to do anything. Medicare will send you your packet automatically about 100 days before your 65th birthday. If you're not receiving Social Security money, then you have to go ahead and sign up for Part A and Part B, unless you have health insurance from work and you like it, or yours or your spouse's work, and your employer has 20 more employees. So if all that applies, you don't have to sign up for Part B. But if you want to sign up for Part A and Part B, then you go ahead and get it all started in April. And between now and then, you have to figure out what you want to do to cover all the gaps of original Medicare. Either a Medicare supplement plan or a Medicare Advantage. So I recommend going down the line. Here's my recommendation. Check out a Medicare supplement plan N first, N as in Nancy, and then plan G, super, you could intertwine, flip those. Either one of those, perfect. And then if that just isn't for you, if it's not within your budget, then you go to a Medicare Advantage plan. And there's just more work with that. You have to check it every year and make sure the company you choose treats you right. And that's why I chose Chapter, is because they have a Medicare success team that helps you throughout the year, making sure you get what you paid for. Because even if it's a zero premium, you paid for all that, all those decades you paid into Social Security, that Medicare, that's where all that money is coming from. So it's your money, get it. All right. Denise, I took mine at 62, February 2023. Then I lost my husband, September 2023. I don't know if I'm on his or widow's. Mine was only 713, but his was double. Can I pause mine till fraud? So you can, yeah, if yours was 713, and yeah, you should have got an increase sometime after you filed for yours and when he passed away. And if you did get an increase, that means you are receiving survivor benefits, but you've already kind of started yours. So you'll just get the increase of survivor benefits. How much weight a CE carries in overall SSDI approval? All right. Yeah, quite a bit. A CE is a consultative exam. When you file for disability, they look at your medical records and everything. But if they have another question or they want something else checked out, they send you to one of the Social Security contracted doctors for a consultative exam. And yeah, that quite a bit of weight. Really depends on the situation, though, right? Dr. Oz will force Medicare recipients to change one's lifestyle or risk loss of coverage and higher costs. Yeah, it's wow. Yeah, I wonder what he's going to do. Right. Lost my Medicaid coverage due to cola being $11 over max. Does that suck or what? Sorry for my French, but anyway, old Marine Corps sergeant. I could have got worse. Yeah, some people love cola, and well, nobody loves it when it's 2.5%, the cost of living, adjustment. But some people hate it because it puts them, now, okay, give me 2.5%, yay. And it puts me $11 over for Medicaid. Now I lose hundreds of dollars of benefits every month because I got an extra $11. Yeah. There is a proposal out there. I don't know how that it's kind of incremental. If you're like $11 over, you don't lose, $300 of, health care benefits. If you lose $100, maybe they, incrementally, okay, you only lose, X amount of money or something rather than just it's either on or off. But yeah, yeah, that hurts. And if you've lost Medicaid coverage, and you remember, if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, you had a Medicare Advantage dual eligible plan, then you also lost that dual eligible plan because you lost Medicaid. So you need to switch to a regular Medicare Advantage plan. All right. This is definitely to delay people getting their benefits or not getting what they're supposed to. Good thing we have you. Thank you. Yeah, that's like I say. This is the lack of good customer service and help to get your benefits. That's essentially a benefit cut. There's benefit cuts coming in the future. 17%, 21%, 33%. But there are benefit cuts happening every single day because people aren't able to get their benefits and they don't know they have benefits that they're available to get. So like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. All right. Where's your office? I'm remote. Hasn't it been that way since COVID, Social Security payment? No, they've had, yeah. It depends on your particular office, but other offices, yeah, they have walk-in. I am on Social Security disability and will turn 62 soon. How do I keep my benefits as is and postpone Social Security? You don't have to do anything. You just keep on keeping on. But if you're on Social Security disability, I always tell people when you're on Social Security disability, there's a few times in your life that you need to take action or check stuff out. If you're on Social Security disability and you turn 60 years old, see if you're entitled to any survivor benefits from anybody you were married to. Okay, that's survivor benefits start at 60 years old. When you turn 62, check to see if you're entitled to any spouse benefits, current spouse, ex-spouse, divorced spouse, independently entitled divorced spouse. When you're 65, check to see if maybe you want a Medicare supplement plan. Most people under 65 in most states, you cannot get a Medicare supplement plan. All you can get is a Medicare Advantage plan. But when you turn 65, you can get a Medicare supplement plan. So check that out and see if it's right for you. And then once you hit your full retirement age, you're on disability. You're no longer on disability anymore. You're switched to regular retirement benefits. So the check stays the same, direct deposit stays the same, but you no longer have any work restrictions. You no longer have those continuing disability reviews. You're completely free. Go on with your life. Oh, and let me do my little commercial here. On Thanksgiving Day, starting probably about 2 o'clock West Coast time, I'm going to do like a mini Jerry Lewis telethon. It's only going to be like 2 or 3 hours, depending on what y'all want, and try to reach an olive branch to that uncle or grandpa who voted. There's so much animosity out there. So, as a peace offering, say, hey, grandpa, don't like the way you voted. I don't like your opinions, whatever the case may be, but you're still my grandpa, and let's make sure you're getting everything you're entitled to and your benefits, and make sure your check is correct and everything. I'm going to be doing 2 or 3 or 4 hours on Christmas, or excuse me, Thanksgiving Day. So yeah, join me then. Bring your family, eat turkey, and talk about Social Security. It's not the funnest thing, but yeah. Anyway, can you receive Social Security benefits if you live in another country? Yes, as long as it's not Cuba or North Korea. So if you're looking to enjoy the beaches of North Korea, then sorry. Florida and then Maryland temporarily due to severe. Okay, I'm not sure what that. People are going to miss deadlines now when they realize there is a deadline and they can't get in. They can't penalize them, in my opinion. Um, if you call, it's called a protective filing. So if you call like this month in November and you want your benefits to start this month, but you're not able to get in an appointment until January, what a lot of people don't realize is you demand to start your benefits in November. It says, hey, it's January 15th and you're now taking my claim, but remember, I did call you in November and I wanted my benefits to start in November, and they 100% should start your benefits in November if you were entitled, in November. Um, you had to be of age and all that kind of stuff, work, limitations, whatever the case may be. But if you're entitled, and people say not entitled, there's two definitions of the word entitlement. Please check out a dictionary. There's two different definitions of entitlement. So a lot of people, my comments are, yeah, what they used to call them, the grammar Nazis and stuff. So yeah, I don't know why they called it that, but yeah. Anyway, let's see. Used charter for setting up a Medigap. Good people, thanks. Oh, okay, perfect, awesome. And you did the Medigap. Medigap is another word for Medicare supplements, and they Medigap because it covers the gaps of original Medicare. Good. All right, I'm seeing 100% perfect reviews from Chapter, and good. That means my son and I picked the right company. I lost my husband 2 years ago and was told I didn't qualify to receive benefits since I was still employed. Yeah, when you receive, early retirement, early spouse benefits, early surviving spouse benefits, you still have the work limitations. Next year, that's $23,400. Anything over that, when you're in early retirement, they hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. So. I am 65. I have 20 months till full retirement. My question is, when should I apply for benefits? Yeah, again, just the same, healthy, do you need the money? Are you working? And all the rest of it. So I have to do a video on that. I've got one kind of planned over the next week or so about, retirement, the questions you should ask yourself, whether, when you're considering early retirement. I'll do a video on that over the next few weeks. I started drawing my Social Security at 62. My husband is waiting till he's 66 in 10 months. Can I tap over to his benefit before he starts drawing, or would it be better for me to wait? No, you cannot. He has to start receiving benefits before you can, because you said he is your husband. If you had put the X in front of there, then you can, if you were divorced for 2 years. But since he is your current husband, you cannot start spouse benefits until he starts his benefits. So that stinks. By appointment only, can we pay the Social Security tax the same way? Yeah, that does suck. Yeah, but pay the Social Security tax. Why does Social Security overpaid and send letters saying you are liable for overpayment? Yeah, there's many reasons. People that work don't tell Social Security. One of the big, a lot of these letters are people that get overpaid on purpose. So if you're under your full retirement age and you work, $1,000 or $2,000 over, what people do is they say, I'm going to be a couple $1,000s over. And so if I'm $2,000 over the annual earnings limit, I'll owe Social Security $1,000 because they hold back $1 for $2 to go over. I can call them up and tell them, and they can stop my benefits and then try to restart it. And yeah, it's going to be a big nightmare. Or I can just forget about it. And when the IRS notifies Social Security that I worked, $2,000 over, they'll send me that nasty grant that says you owe us $1,000, and I'll cut them a check for $1,000. Or better yet, I'll set up a payment plan for 12 months or 60 months, interest free. So y'all didn't hear that from me, a strategy, but yeah. Anyway, so there's that. So a lot of people voluntarily do the overpayment. So there was a big expose by Anderson Cooper on 60 Minutes about overpayments and how many millions of overpays. But a lot of those, well, I don't know, quite a few of those are voluntary overpayments. So people are, shall I say, strategic. How do I know if I will be getting my benefits? Not sure what kind of benefits you're talking about, but if you paid into Social Security at least 10 years, the 40 quarters, then you are entitled to those benefits. I'm 59 on Social Security disability. My ex is 61. Can I get some of his benefits? Yes. Your exos, yes. So as soon as you turn 62, then you can file for divorced spouse benefits on his record, even if he hasn't filed for benefits yet. Because when you're 62, it looks as though he'll be over 62. So that's the only thing. So it's called independently entitled divorce spouse. Okay. Here's another favor I need. I need you all to get this information out there. So many people aren't getting the benefits they're entitled to. Basically, people think that, they're at least 62 years old and they were married to someone for 10 years and they've been divorced from that person for at least 2 years. They can file for benefits on that person's record. But people think, and Social Security employees are telling people incorrect information. They're saying, no, your ex has to start receiving benefits for you to start receiving benefits. That is 100% incorrect. If it's your current spouse, yes, but a divorced spouse, no. As long as that person is 62, you have to start benefits on your own record. So you have to be 62 yourself. You file for benefits on your record, and then you file for the independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. Again, the other person has to be 62, at least 62, and doesn't have to have been receiving benefits. And obviously, the amount, that person's benefit amount, has to be twice yours, because you can get up to 50% of that person's benefit, but their benefit has to be twice your full benefit amount to get those benefits. So please share this with everybody out there, like and subscribe and all that kind of crazy stuff. That helps us teach this YouTube algorithm and TikTok algorithm and Instagram and all that kind of stuff, that this is important information that people need. I think it's important information. My husband reapplied for SSI, was approved after he passed away. Shouldn't they pay me months prorated? They had me give my pay stubs and fill out forms, but they haven't received anything yet. So, okay, so it looks like they're doing that. And if it's SSI, that's a welfare-based program. So probably they're checking that. So yeah, if they ask you for stuff like that, that means they're looking to check to see if you're eligible for those benefits. But yeah, usually when that stuff happens, then it goes to the spouse or something like that, goes to the estate or whatever the case may be. But because it's a SSI, that's a welfare-based program, they need to go back and see if you're actually entitled to that. So I am filing in January for Social Security benefits. I am turning 70. I do get a government pension check. Will that stop when I collect my Social Security check? The government pension check, well, it really depends on whatever entity you're receiving that from. But in terms of Social Security, your Social Security doesn't necessarily stop unless that government pension was one of those non-covered pensions for a government agency that you did not pay into Social Security. Then your benefits are recalculated. So Ed knows, listen well, the OG of the OG. Thank you. All right. All right. Yeah. Let's get into, yeah. Anyway, let's see here. What difference does it make that you keep saying if you're working full time, the company has to have 20 or more employees? What does that mean? Thank you. Yeah. So if the company has to have 20 or more employees, the health plan, the company, because if it doesn't, then if it's under 20 employees, then Medicare becomes the first payer. So if you don't sign up for Medicare Part B and you go to the hospital, or let's say you have a surgery of $100,000, okay? And with Part B, that's a 20% coinsurance. So if your employee plan has under 20 employees, Part B pays first. So if you don't sign up, then your health insurance company they're not gonna pay that bill. They're gonna say, "Hey, you should have signed up for Part B. You should have signed up for Medicare, and you didn't. It's not our responsibility. You should have done that because it was under 20 employees." So sometimes people call me and they say, "Hey, but my company kind of goes up and down. Sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's not." So you just have to call that company and say, "Hey, is this credible coverage? Do I have to sign up for Part B?" Or, whatever the case may be. So, Dr. Ed, SSA access changes are disastrous. I'm so happy you're guiding us. Everyone, yes, please, yeah. And remember, if for whatever reason, you just need your check, you need that 1099, you need your social security number today, now, whatever the case may be, it looks as though the policy is, again, how each office, interprets this policy. That's always the issue. The policy is if you demand to walk in to see someone, they are supposed to let you. But yeah, this is a new thing. Like I said, they've been thinking about this for years, and I was hoping they wouldn't do it, but they did it. What types of income is used when determining the earning cap in early retirement? Are dividends? No. Distributions? No. Contributions to 401? No. It's just basically your gross wages. So if you get paid, $10,000 a month, but you give $1,000 to this 401k and $1,000 to this, doesn't matter. It's $10,000, whatever your gross wages is, or your net income from business. Will the future cuts be followed by more, or will we be good for a while? I guess it really depends on us, doesn't it? It depends on how sharp our stick is to poke our politicians to do the right thing. But the problem is, this is not a Democrat thing. This is not a Republican thing. Both parties dropped the ball. Both parties have pretty much, set us up for failure by waiting for decades. We knew about this, that the trust fund was going to run out. Last year, $70 billion was taken from the trust fund. So don't fall for the politicians' trick about, oh, it was given to illegals or Ukraine or was stolen by politicians. No, the trust fund is still there. $2.6 trillion today. It was 2.7 last year, but 70 billion was taken out. So there's, again, 2.6, whatever. But 70 billion was taken out last year of the trust fund and put into your checks. So 5 or 6% of your check last year came from the trust fund. So your check this month, probably, we don't know the numbers yet, but probably 6 or 7 or 8% is coming for the trust fund, and then more next year, and then the trust fund is empty because it was given to you in your checks. So it wasn't stolen. That's why we can't have nice things, is because we get distracted too often. It's like, oh, it was given to this person. It was given. No, it's in your check. The trust fund it was meant to be depleted. It got depleted quicker than we anticipated for a couple of reasons I've talked about many, many, many times. So we need to do something. And blaming this party or this party, it's all their fault, and it's all our fault because we didn't make the tough decisions. Well, it would be less tough. The decisions we made 10 or 20 years ago would have been very easy. Actually, the decision we make today, 99.9% of you smash the cap. People that make over $168,600 no longer pay FICA tax like the rest of us schmoes. That's, if we got rid of that cap, everything would be hunky dory. But because of the golden rule, that's not going to happen. And the golden rule is those with a gold rule. Okay, I'm skipping around here. There's a lot of questions, hundreds of questions here, and unfortunately, I can't get to all of them. So I'm just going to skip around here and see people that I don't recognize, people have been here before. That have not been here before. I went today to apply for spousal benefits and they could not locate my ex-husband's social. That employee sucks. I've found, yeah, that employee just, it might be difficult sometime the person's name, if they're like super, popular name, James Smith or something like that, and it might be difficult. But then if you know the date of birth, if even within like a 5-year time frame, but if you got the exact date of birth or the week or the month or year, and the city and state where that person was born, And then if it's a really common name, a lot of names pop up. If you happen to know the mother's maiden name or something like that, or the mother's name, then they'll be able to find that person's social security number. So I would call the 800 number and try again. And I bet you the person at the 800 number will be able to find that social security number in like 2.5 minutes. Yeah, I have never, ever, ever not been able to find a social security number with those three pieces of information. So, um, bigger problem with scam accounts isn't number of views of their channel. It is them responding to people in your comment section pretending to be you and learning them to other websites. Oh, really? All right. I'm kind of new to all this kind of stuff, the YouTube type stuff. So thank you all for looking out. Yeah, I have to keep an eye on that, trying to lure them to other places. The only places Chapter Medicare is my Medicare partner, and then my website is mygovexpert.com, and there should be no other places I send you to. Yeah, so everything else is, yeah. So all right, again, I'm jumping around here. My spouse died in March. SSDI deposited his money in his account. I never had access to his account. They held that money for my survivor benefits claim they need to recoup. Yeah, so basically, in order to receive benefits, your benefits are always paid a month in arrears. So, January check comes in February, February check comes in March, and you have to be alive the entire month. So, if he passed away in March, he was not entitled to the March check, which came in April. So usually the Department of Treasury just goes ahead, and once they get notification of his passing, they go in there and they suck it out of the checking account. But I guess they didn't have time, and it's still there. So the money was deposited, and it shouldn't have been. So you're on his record. So therefore, yeah, they took it from you. Yep. Okay, let's see it. Is it correct that there are two ways Social Security finds out that you are earning over 23,000? One, contact them ahead of time. Yep. Or number two, they find out after the fact when T or W-2s are tended. Exactly. Yes, those are the two ways. Yep. That you contact them and say, hey, I'm going to make, $50,000 over, and I don't want to set up an overpayment. So just go ahead and suspend my benefits. And then you go on with your life, and, or the other way is when you file your taxes, the IRS sends that report once it's all done to Social Security, and that's when they start sending out the you owe us money. I'm 68 and a widower. I am retired public servant. I lost my voice. Who doesn't have enough earned quarter to qualify for Social Security. When my wife died, I applied for spousal benefits and was told I make too much. True. All right, so that is what's called a government pension offset. So you worked in a non-covered entity, so probably Florida, Texas, Chicago, LA, Nevada, and you were a teacher, a government employee in those state, local, or city, and you did not pay into Social Security. They've opted out of the Social Security system. And what happens is, if you're receiving you're receiving a pension from that non-covered entity, as they call it, 2/3 of that pension will offset what you're entitled to from your spouse's claim. So, yes, that sounds correct. When do I enroll in a supplemental insurance if I start Medicare August of 2025? Yeah, so if probably a couple 3 months before, start kicking around the options, kind of play around with which one you want, N or G. Again, call Chapter at that time, and they will give you quotes, because remember, a Plan N is a Plan N is a Plan N. They're all the same. Plan G is a Plan G is a Plan G. They're all the same. The only difference is the cost, the price, how much you pay every month, the premium. And number two is that company. There's some companies in your area, that are probably small, like the East West Texas Fireman Supplement Plan G. I'd probably stay away from that one. I just made that one up. Anyway, I would go with like a national one that has a history of, smaller cost increases over the years. Because if you go with someone small one, it's like, oh, this one is like $2 a month. And then next year or 2 years from now, then they jack you up to $120 a month, and so $200 a month. So yeah, I kind of shy away from the smaller, that kind of get you in with a low ball offer. So let's see here. I will be 65 in March of 2025. I am receiving railroad retirement medical benefits. Okay. Yep. So that's another kind of an exception to Social Security. There's the people that don't pay into Social Security based on their, local government, situation. And there's also railroad that's been around pretty much before Social Security. So yeah, I hate panic clickbait. Its Social Security offices are not going to be open. That was a public, you can check on SSA.gov, go down to the very bottom, the communications corner, and it says the new policy that they're coming up that they're going to be closing offices for, most things. So you can't get in, have to set up an appointment. So yeah, it's the silver lining is if you start to have scam accounts and first, oh, okay, yeah, 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 I'll check. I'll keep an eye on that. Let me get some Social Security questions here. Can I change from widow's benefits to my benefits online? How long before the 70th should I apply or make an appointment? Yes, you cannot apply for survivor benefits online yet. They've been working on that forever. But you can, if you're receiving survivor benefits and you want to go ahead and switch over to your benefits, then you can do that online. Yes, you can do that online. But remember, you have to do it by anytime between now and the month you turn 70. After the month you turn 70, then your benefits no longer increase because of that delay. So you no longer receive delayed retirement credits after you turn 70. Um, let's see. Let's see what other questions we got here. Survivor benefits was held back 2 months. His SSDI. Oh, okay. We already talked. We already did that one. How much taxes should be taken out? It really depends. Again, I didn't work for the IRS, but if you decide to get taxes taken out of your Social Security benefits, then you file. I think they've got it online. I'm not sure. I haven't heard anybody experience about filing online, getting it changed online, whether it works okay. But it's a W-4V is the form, a small little form, and you can choose to have IRS taxes taken out of your Social Security check, 7%, 15%, or 22%, I think are the increments. And here's what you do. You kind of get with your tax person and say, hey, what do you think? And they say, well, let's try 7%. So you try 7. And then next year, if it turns out you owe, then switch it to 15%. Or if you go 15% and you pay too much, then switch it back to 7%. So until you get it dialed in correctly, and then you never have to mess with it. So you can, you can change it. Let's see. Independently entitled divorced benefits. Is it available to a divorcee who is presently married to another person for over 10 years? No. If you're married, then no, you can't get it. You have to be single. Let's see here. Good morning. If my grandmother died last July, still get lump sum. Yeah, that $255 lump sum death benefit, is that what you're talking about? If your grandmother has a spouse, your grandfather, yes, your grandfather can get that $255. You cannot. Yeah, we used to have a lot of people kids come in and say, yeah, they want that 255. Sorry. Unless the children were receiving benefits from that person's record. So if you had a child under the age of 18 getting benefits, then it's pretty much automatic. Or if that child is getting benefits based on a disability that began before the age of 22. Um, let's see, just jumping around here. Ed, would you explain end taxes on Social Security benefits mean? I volunteer, pay 7% on my Social Security every month. So end taxes on Social Security. Okay, all right. So your Social Security benefits, about 40% of people do not pay taxes on their Social Security because they just live on Social Security alone. So the people that would really, need that extra money that doesn't affect them. It's the people that make other money from other places, make over 24. If it's over 24,000, then you pay 50%. If it's over, what's the other number? 36,000, then 34,000 for next year. 34,000, then you pay 85%. So the ending taxes on Social Security benefits is not really going to help, the people that really need that help. But, nobody likes paying taxes. And the taxes on Social Security began with the Greenspan Commission and under Reagan in the 80s. And I don't think Social Security should be taxed, because you already pay taxes on it, all that kind of stuff. But if that happens, if they decide to go ahead and stop, having you pay taxes on Social Security, then that's fine. But what's going to cover that gap? Because there's a lot of money that comes in from taxes that go into the trust fund and pay everybody's, benefit. So I think I've got the numbers here. Let me go ahead and pull it up. The trust fund. Okay. Let me take this thing out. So you get the trust fund. So this is 2023, and this is income coming from, so payroll taxes, you got $1 trillion or so. Let me make this bigger. I can barely see it. Let me take this out. Dun, dun, dun. This is a one-man operation. So sorry, it's just me and my son that do all this. He is awesome, but there is no buts. He's just awesome. Payroll taxes, $1 trillion come in for last year for payroll taxes. Taxes on Social Security brought in $49 billion. And then interest, yes, we get interest on our trust fund, $63 billion. So $1.1 trillion came in. So if we end taxes on Social Security, fine, good, okay, all right, yeah, yeah. Then where are we going to get that other 49, $50 billion from? That has to be, if we don't fill that gap, then we're looking at, the trust fund's going to run out sooner, and there's going to be more cuts. So, and you can also see on the right side, trust fund operations, how much came in, how much it cost. So more money went out than went in. So where does they cover the difference? They pull money from the reserves. What's the reserves called? The trust fund. So it hasn't been stolen, has been given to Ukraine or illegals or space aliens or whatever the case may be. We are pulling out of the trust fund. Your check is part of the trust fund. So if you want to find the trust fund, go look at your bank account. There it is. So, all right. Let's see here. Other questions? All right. What will happen in 2035 when the Social Security fund is depleted? Then cuts. Yeah, then we're only going to be able to live on what comes in the door that month. So, all right, let's see. I'm turning 62 in May 2025. I was married over 10 years. My ex turned 62 in October. Do I have to wait until he turns 67 to draw on his Social Security? No, that's the independently entitled divorce spouse benefit. So you're 62, you go ahead and file for benefits on your record. And if he's 62 at that time, then you can go ahead and file for benefits on his record. If his record is twice as much as yours, you get the difference. Can my spouse employer boot me from their group plan if I drop Part B on SSDI under 65? I'm not sure about that, but yeah, yeah, it really depends on the law in your state and everything. But if you drop, maybe they demand you have Part B so they can save money. And so, if they don't boot you, they can say, well, okay, all right, stay on. But, whatever Medicare would have paid, you have to pay it because we ain't paying it. You're supposed to sign up for Medicare. So if you get a bill for $10,000 and you don't have Medicare, Medicare was going to pay that $10,000. We certainly ain't going to pay it. So it's all on you. So, all right, let's see here again. I'm jumping around. If a husband receives Social Security and the wife gets TRS, will the wife be entitled to some of his Social Security at his death? Yes. Well, okay, okay, hold on. If a husband receives Social Security and the wife gets the TRS, so the Texas retirement system, Texas Teachers Retirement System of Texas, I think it is, will the wife be entitled to some of his benefits? Yeah, it depends on the numbers. 2/3 of your non-covered pension from the Texas Teachers Retirement System will offset what you would receive from your spouse. So it really depends on what his benefit amount and how much you're receiving that from that non-covered pension. I'm married now. I'm 60. I'm first deceased husband, and me was married from 1980 to 1998. Can I draw on his money now? Yeah, absolutely. You can, if you were married 2 or 3 times, you check and see which one is the most money, whatever one you're entitled to, 10 years, or you're married when they passed away, whatever the case may be. Yeah, you could very well be conceivably, yeah, I would definitely call Social Security and find out if that benefit is more, find out how much it is, and they will play around with the numbers and tell you whether it's good to start at 60, depending your work and everything like that. So yes, you are entitled, whether there's any more money there in terms of, you know, um, well, yeah, well, I mean, if that person was insured for Social Security, then yeah, there's money there for you. All right, it's over an hour, and wow, a lot of questions. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get to a lot of them, but I will be back again tomorrow, and we will try again. And don't forget about my 2 or 3 or 4 hour, I don't know, 4 or 5. Yeah, I'm not Jerry Lewis. I'm not. Yeah, anyway, I'll try.